With the All-Star break now come and gone, baseball is back. With work to do in the Central Division and wild card standings, our Sox will look to pick up right where they left off heading into the break. And tonight, part 2 of the 2016 season begins with a 6-game road swing starting right here in the Big A. We are coming to you from the Big A in Anaheim, California, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Todd Frazier, Jose Abreu, Brent Laurie, and our Sox as they get set to butt heads with Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and Mike Scioscia's Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you, obviously, the first of this 3-game set and the first of the 6-game road trip. We'll finish it off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with 3 in Seattle. So, you know, the Sox went through 3 streaks opening up the first half of the season. We started off 23-10. We're not a 23-10 ball club. And then, in essence, the other streak was we went 10-23. So we're not a 10-23 ball club either. But what we have to do if we're going to do anything in the second half is avoid a bad streak.
We're certainly going to have that bullpen look like it did early in the season. Will they be untouchable? No, they won't, as they were early. But they're going to be good enough. And in the wild card standings, you see what's happening right now. So the 2 teams, if the season ended today, that would be the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Then the Astros playing good, solid baseball. The Tigers, the White Sox, and the Royals, not much to choose from between those 3. And our Sox have got to put together a streak where the pitching goes well. The guys in the middle of the order start driving in some runs because the table setters have been very good.
Well, there were a couple of roster moves today, 1 pitching and 1 hitting.
They're certainly going to have some reinforcements heading into the second half, and Justin Morneau is going to be one of them. He's active tonight, but he's not going to be in the starting lineup. There you look at the career numbers, and he's been very good. And hopefully, if he can be anything like what he was, he's going to be a huge addition to this team because he can swing it and occasionally can play some first base. Carson Fulmer coming up. He was a starting pitcher in the minor leagues. He's going to be in the bullpen. Don't worry about those numbers because he's just learning how to pitch, and out of the bullpen, he's actually going to be throwing harder. He's got good stuff, and hopefully he's going to be good enough.
Well, Robin's running a good man out there to start off the second half for us.
Miguel Gonzalez going to the mound, and he had a couple of games where he was absolutely brilliant. And over the last 2 starts, he's gone 14 innings, so he's kept the boys out of the pen. And as you can see, an ERA of 1.29 over the last couple of starts. He's been throwing it pretty well, especially for a back end of the rotation starter. So hopefully he will have it tonight, and we'll see as it plays out.
And Miguel will have to contend with 5-time All-Star already, Mike Trout. So he made us pay back in April. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Full night for baseball and a nice way to kick off the second part of the season. The Sox playing their 89th game. That means there's 74 left as Mike Scioscia and Robin Ventura meeting with the umpires at the mound, and the Sox have a chance to put things together, get on a winning streak, and become even more relevant than they are in the wild card. And you take a look at through the All-Star break, the record. This year, 2 over 500. Last season, 4 under. This year, the batting average 10 points higher. The runs per game, substantially higher. The home runs, well, they've hit many more this year. And the ERA, a little bit higher than last year. Last year, a very disappointing season overall. They fell off in the second half. This year, with the addition of a couple of added players, they believe that the second half is going to be a whole lot better. There is Robin in his 5th year as a Sox manager, .465 winning percentage. He realizes that the table setters have done the job. Anderson and Eaton at 1 and 2 have done a terrific job since Tim Anderson came up from the minor leagues. So it's up to Abreu, Cabrera, and Frazier to get it done in the middle. Mike Scioscia on the other side of the page is really struggling with his ball club. Although talking to him before the game, he believes that they can put it together. They just had some pitching upheaval. They got Giovanni Soto back. He's back from knee surgery. He'll be catching. And he feels if they can get their starting rotation stabilized, they can actually, if not make a run at it, they can certainly be respectable the second half of the season. So the Angels take the field. And let's take a look at how Robin is going to line them up tonight. Tim Anderson leading it off, and then it's Adam Eaton in the 2 spot. Jose Abreu at first base and hitting 3rd. Then it's Melky Cabrera. Todd Frazier, who's been hot lately, with Brett Lawrie, who's done a terrific job recently. Diana Navarro, Abasil Garcia, and J.B. Shuck rounded out. The Cricket Wireless defensive setup and how the Angels are going to line them up. It's Nava, Trout, and Calhoun in the outfield. Cole Calhoun won a Gold Glove last year. With Escobar, Simmons, Giavotolo, and Choi in the infield. Giovanni Soto, the former White Sox player, behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Hector Santiago, another former White Sox pitcher. He's 6-4 this year. His ERA up above 4.5. He's got a big fastball. It's 95 miles an hour. He struggles with the idea of throwing that screwball, which he seems to like, but doesn't get over the plate. And the umpires for the game tonight. Jim Reynolds behind the plate. Manny Gonzalez at first. C.B. Buckner's at second. And the crew chief, Fielden Culbreth, is at 3rd. So Tim Anderson is strolling to the plate to kick off the second part of this season. Hector Santiago is ready to go. They've thrown the ball around the infield, and now it's time for me to throw it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball. Right here on Comcast Sportsnet. First game of the second half. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. And you at home are going to have a chance to have your pick to click from now on. First pitch to Tim Anderson, taken from the strike, for a strike, from the 28-year-old southpaw. Hector Santiago. And he comes in hitting at .304, 4 homers. He's driven in 10.
When Santiago just goes with his slider and his fastball, he's usually pretty good, especially if he doesn't throw that screwball very much.
1 out. Santiago has got the perfect head action to throw a good changeup or a good screwball.
He goes to the high heat and throws it right by Anderson. Only 92. We'll see a little bit more from him. And right now, not great visibility for the hitters.
Well, after he shows you an off-speed pitch at 92, got a little more giddy up on it than that. So here is Eaton at 271, 5 homers. This is the 5th meeting of the year between these two teams, and the first 4 back at our place, they split them. Sox come in the last 19 games on a bit of a streak, 12-7. Sox come in hitting at .251 as a team with a 4.02 ERA. There's a good strike. And by that motion with the head action, he throws that head a little bit. He jerks it just at the right time. And usually, one of the guys with one of the greatest changeups in the history of the game was a little right-hander named Stu Miller. And that's how he got his performance to that level with that head action. Just completely threw the hitter off as he checks that one up. Now, Hector's not good as Stu's, but a little similar. He was 9-9 last year with a 3.59 ERA.
For the last 5 starts, Hector's been very good. He really scuffled for 8 or 9 straight starts. And certainly the Angels could use a good second part of the season from Hector Santiago. They've had so many injuries to that pitching staff, and he could be one of their mainstays.
That ball hit well into left field. Nava going back. He can't get there. He didn't get a real good jump on the ball. And I got to say, in defense of Nava, though, a little bit, is this one of the tougher ballparks, especially at this time of day, and even a little bit later, to pick it up off the bat.
I think visibility for both the fielders and the hitters is really difficult. Lights have not taken over yet. It is dusk here. And years ago, when they would pitch Nolan Ryan in this ballpark and start the games an hour earlier, nobody could see. And
nobody could hit him.
No, they had some real tough times with that one. 500th career hit for Adam Eaton.
14th double of the season, and here is Abreu. And here at the Big A, 330 down the lines, 380 out there in left center, 375 out there in right center, and just under 400 straight away. So. High and wide.
Angels have a very good, very talented shortstop in Andrelton Simmons. He can go get him. He's got a huge arm. Came over from Atlanta and having a pretty decent year. Only made 8 errors, and with the kind of range he has, that's actually very good.
Well, a guy with a gun like he has and that range like he has, going to make some errors.
He can do that. Plus, they don't have range at third. Escobar doesn't have much range anymore. He was a lifetime shortstop, now moving to third. Giovatelli does not have much range and has some problems as he goes to his right. So Simmons really has to cover a whole lot of ground in this infield.
And that's one reason he's going to make some errors, because he thinks he can throw out anybody.
Well, as a pitcher, when he was young, he threw 95. He has one of the better arms around, but sometimes it does get you into some trouble.
The 1-2. Two down. So with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click. And fans, now you can vote for your pick to click before each game. Visit whitesox.com/pick to click and decide who you think will be the next White Sox position player of the game. There you see Abreu is the fans pick. Crew's picks: Brett Laurie, Steve's Tim Anderson, and David Novak, and all the great folks at Boogie Hyundai. And we're going to go with JB Shuck.
It was a slower breaking ball that Hector has been working on.
Melky hitting at 297, 8 homers and 41 driven in. Count evens at 1. That one back.
Tim Lincecum, who has moved into the starting rotation. A lot of teams bidding for his services. 1-3, 6.85 ERA, and 5 starts. The services have not been too good.
Sox 21-21 on the road this year, and for what we've been through, that is a good road record. Strikes out the side, but the double by Eaton. He remains a second after happening in play as our guys nothing and their guys coming to bat.
Who's going to line up his Angels for the game tonight? It's Yunel Escobar, Cole Calhoun, and Mike Trout. At the top, Albert Pujols, Daniel Nava, Johnny Giavitello, G-Man Choi at first base, Giovanni Soto, and Drelton Simmons rounded out. The Cricket Wireless defensive setup, and how Robin is going to line them up tonight. It's Melky, JB, and Adam in the outfield with Todd Frazier, Tim Anderson, Brett Lawrie, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Daniel Navarro gets a nod behind the plate. Our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Miguel Gonzalez, who has been pretty good lately. 2-4, his ERA 4.39. As a back end of the rotation guy, he's actually been probably better than expected. He keeps the ball in the ballpark. He's worked ahead of the hitters. That split change that he uses has been terrific for him. And let's see if he can take down the top of this order and deal with Calhoun and Trout at 2 and 3.
Here's Escobar hitting at .317. Escobar with some of the bigger hands in the American League. He got some huge paws on him.
A lot of people figure that he would be one of the guys that a lot of teams will come to the Angels and want him in a trade.
That's high right field. Adams got to beat the ball. 1 out. Angels hitting at .266 as a club. 15 points higher than us. They have a 4.52 ERA. 0.50 higher than ours at 4.02. Here's one of my favorite names in all of sports. Cole Calhoun.
Cole Calhoun can play. Won a Gold Glove last year. You look at the numbers this year, and this guy's got a short stroke. He's very strong.
.26 homers last year, hitting at .288, 10 homers, 47 this season.
I talked to him about the one defining moment in his career where he thought that one moment propelled him to get a whole lot better and to establish himself as a major leaguer. He said to me he broke the hamate bone, and he said when he did that, he came back, had surgery, came back, and he said it was sore, and every time he swung it was sore, so he cut down his swing. And he said now he went back to a bigger swing, but he learned by cutting down his swing he could actually not strike out all the time. He's got a good quick stroke. He is very strong, but he says that changed his entire approach to hitting. He never thought about that before, but because of soreness in his hand, he said that was the one thing that turned everything around. And the one thing you keep talking about is approach and how important it is as opposed to mechanics.
Mechanics is a killer. It's just that simple. If you got enough talent to be in the major leagues, he gone. Good pitch. Just nipping the outside edge of the outside corner.
It's the backdoor cutter. He uses it well.
But if you've got enough talent that they signed you and you went through the minor leagues and got to the big leagues, you've got some talent. You can hit. You don't teach guys how to hit at the major league level. What you do is you teach them how to be dangerous. And the way you teach them how to be dangerous is by approach.
Well, this is a real strong guy, and followed by another stronger guy in Trout.
Well, this guy is freakish, and I say that obviously complimentary. One of the great players in the game, and he's got a chance to be one of the greatest players we've ever seen, period.
Well, I think he's starting to realize, as so many have before him, if you can hit the ball out of the ballpark and drive in big runs, you don't have to steal that many bags. Because there's no doubt with the speed he came in with, he could steal 40, 50 bases a year. Doesn't seem to be a great plan for him, although he can still steal them. I mean, he's stolen 15 bases, only been caught once.
Well, it's not Mike Scioscia, but whoever is at the top and they start running those numbers out, they're going to say, wait a minute, we don't want him running.
That's Billy Epler, who's a new GM of this team from the New York Yankees.
They're going to say, well, no, we don't want him running. And that's one thing that I totally disagree with. Let guys play. Let guys play. Let them have fun out there, because the more fun you have out there, the better chance you've got of doing well. The better chance you've got of doing well, the better chance you've got of winning a baseball game.
Well, this is a very unsocial-like team, and I say that because with 15 stolen bases, Trout is far and away. He's the only guy they have that steals bases. The rest
If Mike
of the team
Scioscia had his way, he
slothful.
would get a team that would run you out of the ballpark each and every day.
He had it for many years, and they were really tough to beat.
Mike Scioscia, one of the best in the business.
Now, they've talked periodically about the fact that, the Angels have scuffled somewhat, and maybe Scioscia's job is on the line and the pressure that he's going through and all of those things. He'd be unemployed for about 15 seconds until he could take as many phone calls as would have him.
Good pitch off the end of the bat, Timmy. Nice inning for McGill, and after one, no score.
You can follow Dan Hayes, our White Sox insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio, furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape.
Frazier, Laurie, and Navarro here in the top of the second inning. No score if you're just tuning in. Getting back to Scioscia, yeah, he was the last couple of times he's had a different general manager. They've given him a ball club he really didn't want. The most precious thing that a manager has is the lineup card. That's the most precious thing he's got. And if that is indeed the case, you've got to give him some say rather than having a suggested lineup sent down every game.
Well, there was a few difficulties when Jerry DiPoto was named the GM. Artie Moreno, the owner, and a good owner he's been. He figured that with a new generation, DiPoto was a former player, but a new generation of general manager coming in, that things would look a whole lot better for his ball club. But there was a lot of things that disappeared from what made the Angels great for as long as they were great.
And they call it baseball.
And Mike Scioscia said that. He goes, you know what, look, you can quantify a lot, and I know the computers are here to stay, and they're very good. He said, but it's still baseball. It's still played the same way. Yes, you quantify more things these days, but there's a lot of things called visual analytics also.
Mike Scioscia can look at a player and watch him play for, say, a series, 3 or 4 games, okay? Maybe have him just play a couple of series, watch him play, and can tell you more about that player than that computer can. And he's not the only guy that can do that.
Well, he gets along very well, and I asked him about Billy Epler, who was with the Yankees for quite some time, and I said, what is the best thing that a manager and general manager can do with one another? And he said, communication, and Billy Epler does that. He seeks my advice, the advice of my coaches. He'll have the final say and make the decision, but not without a lot of input.
Well, Billy Epler had a great mentor, Brian Cashman.
Yeah.
One of the best in the business. And of course, we're going to have to wait and see how Epler's philosophy, so to speak, because that's what guys do. They work for a guy like Brian Cashman, learn a lot, but they also form their own philosophy. And we'll have to see how that coincides with Scioscia's.
Under the last couple administrations, what's happened with the Angels is their minor league system has dried up. They don't have many prospects down there. Now, Mike Scioscia in an article wouldn't really comment on that, but realistically, any evaluator will look at the system and realize they don't have talent, and that's unusual for the Angels.
Well, under the last couple of administrations, they made some bad signs.
There's no question.
Now, the numbers wouldn't agree with that statement. The computers wouldn't, but they made some bad signs.
Yes, they did that.
The one thing computers cannot come up with is heart and common bonds. They can't quantify that. Got him. Good pitch. So 4 strikeouts now for Hector.
That's the first one called, and Todd leaning out of the way of this, but when you look at the Honda pitch tracks, you realize that that ball had the whole plate. So a 10-pitch at bat ends in a called third as Giovanni Soto brings it back into the zone. He didn't have to. It was a strike anyway.
So here's Brett hitting at .257, 11 homers, 35 driven in.
He's one of those guys that might have some pretty good swings at Santiago because he can hit high fastballs. Now, he's not going to hit them face high, but he can certainly hit them letter high and hit them awfully hard. Santiago throws a lot of them up there.
Well, one of the things about that in the numbers game, I love numbers. As I told you, I love math. One of my favorite subjects. I love math, and there's certainly a place for numbers in the game of baseball. For me, primarily only because it expands your fan base. Gets a lot of youngsters who are not going to be players, but who love the game of baseball, and they get into it. And I love that aspect of it. But what numbers do, they tell you what a guy can do. What managers good, like a Scioscia, Madden, Bruce Bochy, those guys, what they do is they want to know what a guy can't do, and then they don't ask him to do it.
That's the one he got lay off of. That was the one up and out of the strike zone that Santiago uses consistently. And over the last 16, Brett's been awfully hot. Almost 400. 3 homers, 3 doubles, 8 driven in.
Well, he's had 4 strikeouts all on high fastballs. So if you're going to chase his high fastball, he's probably going to beat us. Simmons.
That went up there for an awfully long time.
Yeah, it was. You know, you were talking about Morneau in the opening there. I was watching him take BP. I talked to him on the plane last night coming out. I said, Justin, how does it feel? He said, great. I said, real good? He said, yes. I watched him take batting practice today. He looked like the old Justin Morneau.
I think one of the reasons, and probably the only reason he's not playing tonight, is that you want to start him off against a right-hander. At least get him a good, solid 4 at-bats against a right-hand pitcher instead of Santiago, who's tough to pick up, especially in the early going. And that ball game tomorrow is going to be an hour earlier, so you should have some better vision at the start before you move into the vision that we have right now.
There's a couple big guys right there, Morneau and Frazier. One pitch. Souvenir.
Well, you know, a lot of people said to me, why Justin Morneau? I mean, he's had injuries, he's had this, he's had that, because it's a no-lose situation. He's got an incentive-laden contract. If he gets it done, he will get paid. If not, by major league standards, it was $1 million to see if he can come back and get anything close to what he was. You've got a guy with almost 1,000 runs driven in, who was a big run producer, a lot. And if he can give them anything, it's a very low risk, high reward situation, which is what you're looking for in baseball.
Here's a 1-2. Pull a string on him right there. Meanwhile, that is 5 strikeouts through 2 innings of work for Santiago.
On Friday, July 22nd, purchase a specially priced game ticket, receive a voucher for a White Sox Santa hat. Also stay for the post-game fireworks set to Christmas music. To purchase this ticket package, visit whitesox.com/Xmas.
So here's one of the great hitters of the last 50 years in this game, Albert Pujols.
Most amazing thing about his year, 4 for 4 in stolen bases.
He's sneaky. You give it to him, he'll take it.
That's exactly right. Despite the fact that he's had bad legs for a long time.
He's hitting .249, 15 homers, 60 knocked in. Last year he hit 40 homers and drove in 95. But he's one of those guys, it's not what he hit, it's when he hit it.
He's been prolific offensively for a long time, and I remember talking to Tony La Russa when they were trying to find a place for him to play, and he said, yeah, he's playing third base now, but one day he'll be a Gold Glove first baseman, and that's exactly what happened. You look at these numbers and they're staggering. 310 lifetime batting average. Look at the home runs at 575. Wow, huge numbers.
Good pitch. Ate him up inside.
What does a wide stance do for you? Because Pujols has had that since he came into the major leagues.
What does your fingerprint do for you?
Well, it tells me who I am.
That's exactly right. Stance, it's whatever makes you feel good.
So that's, I mean, it doesn't really do anything but make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's just, if that's in the right field. You've seen it as I have, and you and I got a lot of years in the major leagues. We see John walking fusses and guys. I mean, had some stances, and I want to tell you too, at Cooperstown, if you see video of a lot of those old-time hitters, and you didn't know who they were, you'd say, that guy can't hit. Not with that stance, not with that swing.
There's more stand-up hitters today than I think in any generation of hitters that I've ever seen.
I love stand-up hitters. I love stand-up hitters. Stand-up hitters, to be successful, they'll have to be able to cover a high fastball. You know, everybody's talking about, well, he can't, he's bad on breaking stuff. Who the heck is good on breaking stuff? If you throw the curveball where you want to, I'm gonna grab some bench.
Well, hangers get hit by everybody anyway.
Anywhere, anybody. That is one of the most ridiculous statements in baseball. Well, he can't hit curveball. Just grab a bat and go hit against Burt Blyleven and let him get it anywhere close to where Nolan Ryan.
These guys hooked up in the American League East for a long time. Nava and Gonzalez.
Nava, 264 career hitter. You'll find that you'll have more good high fastball hitters with guys with narrower stances than guys with wider stances. Now, you always have exception to any rule. And Pujols is one of those exceptions. He can hit anything. But he can't hit the good breaking ball if you get it where you want to, especially in a count.
The Angels just lost a prolific run producer in C.J. Cron. Was hit twice in the same game, had hand surgery, so he's down. His 11 home runs, 50 driven in. That's most likely what he'll wind up with this year. And that is a huge loss for them, because even though it hasn't been a good year, he's one of the guys that you counted on to hit the ball out of the ballpark and drive in some big runs.
Plus the fact that it looked like he'd figured it out to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, he had big power the opposite way.
Did you like to see guys who struggle like CJ has struggled most of his career in the major leagues, and all of a sudden you see him start to get better and better and better? Maybe it was something that one of the coaches mentioned to them. I'm sure it wouldn't have been about mechanics. It would have been something more towards an approach type statement. But then all of a sudden that light switch goes off and you start doing it on your own, and all of a sudden you figure it out. Michael Brantley's a good example of that with Cleveland. Just watch him get better and better and better each and every year. As there is the walk. One out. Now here is Johnny Giavatello.
Well, eventually, and we don't know exactly when it is because they don't know, the Cleveland Indians are going to get Michael Brantley back. And to go with what they have, if Brantley comes back with any semblance of what he was, they're going to be tough to catch.
Well, I said it earlier, and I framed it with respect to the defending world champion Kansas City Royals. And so somebody knocked them off. They still have deserved and earned the respect that they're the favorites in this division. But the club that worried me the next was Cleveland.
Well, Kansas City had things you couldn't predict. I mean, Lorenzo Cain on the disabled list, losing Moustakas for the year, losing Gordon for a great deal of time. Wade Davis going on the disabled list, one of their mainstays at the tail end, their closer. I mean, that's a lot of losses to overcome for anybody.
Yeah. Back him up. And that'll retire the side. So he has the 1-out walk, throws the double play, and still no score. League history and tradition as some of baseball's best high school players converge on USA Field in the 9th annual Double Duty Classic. The best in the West face the East Elite in an all-star field showcase. Join Jason Benetti for the first pitch at 1 on CSN Chicago. And also, I've been with my new schedule this year, been watching Jason. Jason, I know you're watching tonight, buddy, and I got to compliment you doing a great job. Just stay right where you're at. Javi can't get it. And if you ever get a chance to go to Kansas City, for you fans out there, because we usually get a lot of Sox fans come in for those series, you've got to take a trip to the Negro Hall of Fame. I played in Kansas City, and I've been going to Kansas City since 1963, and I didn't go there until 2006 when Kenny Williams took the whole club over there, and it was one of the most interesting days that you'll ever spend understanding Negro League baseball and all the trials and tribulations that they went through. Javi hitting at .232, 5 homers, 28 driven in. There's a bullet right at him. That's a hang wolf.
Calhoun, one of the reasons he won the Gold Glove was that they brought him in. He had a tendency to play very deep because he went in much better than he went back, and that's not unusual for a lot of younger outfielders. But last year especially, they had to move in some, so he was able to charge the ball a little bit better. Yeah, the ball's going to get over your head occasionally, but many more are going to fall in front of you than go over your head, and he made a good play there on a line drive rocket.
Yeah, Shuck. Well, so many teams make that mistake. They put young outfielders who are what you would call, at best, still learning young outfielders. They put them in normal positions that the charts say. And it's one of the worst mistakes you can make. When you get outfielders of that ilk, you've got to put them back. You've got to play them back because it's a heck of a lot easier to come in than it is to go back. And then as time goes on and they become better and better out there, you'll see them start moving in on their own. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out.
But JB, since playing a whole lot more frequently these days, get that batting average up over 250. He's really had a terrific run.
He's been playing better than I thought he could.
He really has been. I mean, he started out in the high ones, but like everything else, you get more at bats, you get a more consistent stroke, you see the ball much better, and he's made the most of it.
Flips that one into left field. Out.
Number 12, Tim Anderson.
So we go back to the top of the order with Tim Anderson. JB could hit a little bit, but he's been playing much better in center field than I thought he could.
Escobar very close to third. He's not only in front of the bag, but he comes in with the pitch, thinking about taking away a bunt.
Then he struck out swinging at a high fastball. You got to lay off. You got to make Santiago get it down. You cannot chase that high fastball. If you do, you're going to get beat.
Last 13, Tim Anderson has been really good as a table setter and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Outfield straight up, spread out, spaced about equidistant. Fights that one off. Always a nice crowd here at the Big A in Anaheim. They're averaging 37,991.
Well, you can pretty much take it to the bank. You're going to get beautiful weather each and every time out. That certainly is the case tonight.
Six strikeouts now for Hector. Go to the bottom of the third, still no score.
On Thursday, July 21st at 7:10. First 10,000 fans will receive a free Chris Sale t-shirt presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. G-Man Choi doesn't have much power. He did hit in AAA, hasn't shown it here yet. But he'll use the whole field, and let's see on the matchup. He stands pretty close to the plate with that back foot.
.302 career minor league hitter. But as you mentioned, no power. If he does hit one out, it's somewhat of a surprise. Drops a hook on him. 0-2. He's 2 for 24 since being called up. Softly hit off the end of the bat. So there is the first hit. You can cancel the post-game show.
He reaches out, catches it off the end of the bat. This is a pretty good pitch. Looked like his split change, and Troy got enough of it. Eased it over the head of Anderson for a base hit.
So here's Soto, Gio, hitting at 266, 3 homers. He's driven in 7.
He's just coming back from knee surgery. Talked with him before the game. I said, well, is it going to affect your speed at all? He said, not so much.
And a good job by Abreu, but he comes down on his hand, it looked like.
Well, there's no doubt that he came right down on the left hand, and they're going to take a close look at this. Question is, will the glove save him a nasty cut? Because Jose has to go up and get it, and then you see him come right down and stomp.
Well,
on his left hand.
It looked like from that angle, fortunately just towards the fingers. If that's on the wrist or up in there, he's in trouble with about 265 coming down.
Especially with the size of the man coming down. It looks like he's going to be okay.
Well, when you now 3 for 25, you want to stay in there if you can.
And Jose saying, sorry. Not much he could do.
So here's Simmons.
Take a look at a guy that is state-of-the-art defensively. They talk about defensive runs saved. That's one of the metrics they use for all defenders. For the last 3 years heading into this year, 94 defensive runs saved by Andrelton Simmons, and that's far and away more than anybody else anywhere.
It's just a little bit low.
Nobody over the last 3 years saved more runs than Simmons, and that's because of the great arm, which we talked about, and the fact that he has astonishing range.
There he goes. Hit and run was long. So the count evens at 1.
Probably with no contact, he's throwing out stealing. Didn't get much of a jump, but on a hit and run, you don't need a great jump. Just have to make sure you don't get picked off.
There he goes. remember that one spring, Socia, there was still a week or so to go. You go over to Tempe and play the Angels. They had over 50 stolen bases that spring.
Yeah, he would get to the point, well, nobody had the kind of speed he had, and nobody used it any better than Mike Socia, so he would just absolutely run you out of the ballpark if you had any problems at all with pitchers holding guys close and catchers who could throw people out.
So here's Escobar. Broken bat, Kansas City special, and it's 1-0.
So the hit and run worked for Mike Socia because the hit and run kept him out of a double play situation. And Escobar drives in his 28th run, puts the Angels on top. Broken bat. It's a split change, but it stayed over the plate. And Escobar hits it in the left field. No chance at all for Melky.
So here's Calhoun. Jacks it up, takes it down low.
Cole has come very close to where the Sox have their spring training. Sox trained and share a facility with the Dodgers in Glendale. Cole Calhoun is from Buckeye, Arizona, which is very close.
Struck out his first trip. Beautiful evening here in Southern California. Get fouled. That's foul. Fair. Get it back. Bobble, bobble, bobble. Now they're going to send him, and he's going to score, and it's 2-0 on the double by Cole Calhoun.
Now wait and see how that scored. It's going to be a double anyway. The question is on the carom around the wall. Adam Eaton had some problems with it. And going to a ballpark you're not all that familiar with, it gets difficult to play the caroms. Escobar doesn't have great speed. If Adam comes up with this and gets it back in cleanly, probably doesn't score. But this carom is a tough one, and then 3 different tries at corralling it leaves him a little short.
It's always tough on the outfielder, right or left, when you get that curvature down there with the foul line. Like vis-a-vis Fenway Park. Trout. Hit one off the end of the bat to Tim Anderson at short.
And that's not going to be ruled an error. This is going to be ruled RBI number 48 for Calhoun.
How's that back?
Last year, this team looked like they were starting to put it together again. They were 85 and 77. And things were coming together for them nicely. Mike Trout, who's a perennial favorite to win, or at least be in the top 2 in MVP voting. Leading the way along with Albert Pujols, who had a big year, but this year injuries have just caught up with him.
Well, injuries are catching up to everybody. The injuries certainly caught up to us. And the loss, I never hear anything about it. It still amazes me a little bit. One of the biggest hits and one of the biggest hurts we've had this year is losing Austin Jackson.
Yeah, that was difficult to cover, although Shuck has done a nice job. But where the loss of Austin, and yes, his defense, but Austin was hitting the ball as well as anybody in the lineup.
He was
when
coming
he
on
went
strong, hitting a little over 250 and coming and going up, but also the way he covered. Not too many guys can cover more ground out there than Austin Jackson. And you never hardly hear anything about when injuries come into play in conversation. Trout's a big man.
But he can tattoo low pitches.
That's not low.
Ooh, that's where you got to stay.
And he gone. But they come up with a pair and they lead it 2-0. There, guys, no runs, 1 hit, no errors for our guys. And here's the man with the 1 hit. That was a double over the head of Daniel Nava in left field with 1 out in the first inning. Adam Eaton checks it up, takes a pitch just off the inside corner. First of 3 here at the Big A in Anaheim. We'll finish it off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Safeco in Seattle.
One thing we do know for sure is that Chris Sale and Jose Quintana will not go in this series. What with a little work in the All-Star game, they're going to save them until Seattle.
There's a strike, and the count 2-1. Escobar. That was a Skinner.
Should be a base hit. We'll have to see. And Adams' ability to bunt got him that hit, if it is indeed a hit, because Escobar is in at the cut of the grass. If Adam can't bunt, he's going to be back and he's going to make that play rather easily. So it does indeed go as a hit. Adam is 2 for 2.
Here's Abreu. struck out on a high fastball. Souvenir right side.
Strikeout victim his first time and trying to keep the ball off the ground. He's grounded into 13 double plays this year.
Close pitch, and it goes Santiago's way.
Last three, Jose is doing it pretty well.
Good pitch by Hector. Ate him up inside. In game 2 tomorrow, that's an 8:05 Central start right here on Comcast Sportsnet. James Shields against Matt Shoemaker. And on Sunday in finale, a 2:35 Central start. Jared Weaver for them. He'll be running an 82-mile-an-hour fastball up there.
That's with the wind at his back. Got a good changeup though.
I'll tell you what, he's fun to watch from a baseball standpoint. Trout's got him. And he'll get it back in. Good throw. Watch out.
I'm not sure exactly what that was, but Simmons almost picked up another error, deciding that maybe Adam Eaton would be trotting back to first base.
Well, that's what happens with guys who have great arms. They love to throw, and why not? But they're going to make some bad throws trying to get people.
Yeah, this one was a bad choice.
Well, they're going to make bad choices because of that bad great arm.
But Choi is able to go and stop him from throwing the ball to the stands.
I know AJ Pierzynski, he throws around compliments like manhole covers. Said Simmons is something.
Atlanta decided to move him because he was getting to the point of his career where he was going to be in line for some pretty big bucks. And the Braves decided he was expendable. Yeah, they are.
That's a fair ball right over the bag. But they do get Adam at second base. So 2 down.
C.B. Buckner on the call at second. It's a good throw by Escobar, and Givatella came off the bag very quickly. Ranging into foul territory.
Third baseman, number 21, Todd Frazier.
The question is really, was he on the bag? Givatella looked to me like there was a chance he might have been off the bag.
So here's Todd. He struck out, called out. On a pitch very close to that location.
That was his straight change. Not exactly a screwball, but a straight change.
Almost a dinosaur of a pitch. The screwball.
Yep.
Taking another look at Giavotella. Yeah, he had the bag.
Came across dragging the back foot.
Yeah.
Would have been a spectacular double play if he keeps the ball in the air. Joy does a nice job of making sure that the ball doesn't get by him again.
He just missed that one. Just missed it. But miss it he did. Meanwhile, we trail it 2-0.
At Cablevision in Knox County, Illinois.
And I want to send out a big congratulations to my 12-year-old grandson, Nico Hawthorne, on his first home run out of the ballpark over the left center field fence today. And the first of many. Nico.
When you say first out of the ballpark, does that mean that he had an inside the park home run?
Yeah. But this one, my daughter sent me some video of it, and he put a heck of a swing on it and just absolutely killed it. So here, and it was a long way out there over left center field. As there's a curveball a little bit high to Pujols, who went out to Adam Eaton.
Tim Anderson, knowing the speed of Albert, knew he had a whole lot of time. That was a tough hop. He was able to pick it. He's shown great hands at shortstop. And then after you make that catch, easy after that. So now as we're getting a little more darkness, the hitters are seeing the ball a whole lot better than they saw it.
Nava do a walk. Yeah, at least you can see the spin a little bit now. Before you, that's what gets you. You can't see the spin.
First few innings, it was really tough to see on both sides.
Ball hit hard, but we got a man there. And fans, when you think mortgage in Chicago, think eClick Lending. With rates at all-time lows, don't wait. Lock in your low rate today with eClick Lending. You never pay lending fees. Point, click, save. eClick Lending.
Outfield straight away for Giovitella. Got Frazier in close to third. Might remember Johnny when he played for the Kansas City Royals.
1-1. One and two with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 bad guys.
Vitello normally a pretty tough guy to strike out. Last year he hit 272, which is in the neighborhood of what he's hitting this year. Doesn't have great speed, but he is a contact hitter.
Lays off that. He gone. 1-2-3 inning. We still trail it 2-0. Garcia for our guys here in top of the 5th inning. 2-0 Halos. High pop up right side. Vitello.
Sox fans, you can join us as our Sox take on the Tigers on Saturday, July 23rd at 6:10. First 20,000 fans will receive a 1976 navy blue throwback jersey presented by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
So Brett now 0-for-2 with 2 major league pop-ups. One to Simmons at short, and that one to Vitello at second. And here is the honor. Struck out on a changeup. Takes first pitch strike.
Mike Trout playing an awfully deep center field, which he is prone to do.
Well, you can't make all the great catches going up over the wall. And of course, the great Torrey Hunter made that more or less the style for center fielders. I miss watching Torrey Hunter play. That man was over 200 games, over 500 in the teams he played for in his career.
Every ball club that he played for misses having him in their clubhouse and dugout.
And there's a high pop up. Gio Soto.
Had him out front, and that was another changeup. Hector Santiago is doing a nice job, as he's done 4 out of the last 5 starts. So things getting better for him as he's moved along.
Here's Avi. He lined out very hard. Cole Calhoun in right field.
When you're around the plate with everything, you're going to get the benefit of a lot of calls, and Hector Santiago has been around the plate with just about everything. He's yet to walk anybody.
I cannot name one definitive miss on pitch by Jim Reynolds so far in this ball.
He's having a good night, and
he hadn't
Hector's
missed a pitch.
having a good night.
That's all you can do is not miss one. He hadn't missed one for either team.
Gio Soto wanted another high fastball, but instead Hector wanted to throw the soft breaking ball and miss with it.
Yes, he did. And that'll retire the side. We are halfway home, trailing by 2. Our Chuck Meister as we go to the bottom of the 5th. 2-3-0 for them. 0-2-0 for us. And here's a man who started off that 2-run third with a broken bat Kansas City special single. Into more or less center field.
And then got stepped on for his efforts. Still keyed the 2-run third.
That's into center field, but we got a man there.
Catcher, number 18, Giovanni Soto.
Gil Gonzalez came up through the Angel organization, and one of his dear friends was Nick Adenhart. And Nick was an Angel pitcher who was killed after probably his best major league game against Oakland. 3 people dying in that crash. He was in the back seat. Because of that, Miguel's always worn his numbers somewhere as he's gone to take the mound, in remembrance of Nick, who was just really starting out to be a very good pitcher with these Angels.
Two and 0. Three and 0. Outfield straight up, spread out. And a full count.
Gio Rookie of the Year in 2008 with the Cubs. Been with a number of teams, including our Sox, since then. Those are the career numbers. Knocking on the door at 800 Major League games.
Ball hit hard in the gap. Well, he had a 7-pitch at bat. Picks up his 4th two-bagger.
He gets a high fastball, drives it into the gap, and even though speed is not a big part of his game, he's able to easily coast into second base.
So here's Simmons. A little bit low. He grounded out to Laurie at second. Last year, he had 265, 4 homers, and knocked in 44 for Atlanta. So a base running blunder, and we'll take it.
Soto just shaking his head. He knew that that's a horrible mistake. Anything hit in front of you, especially when you've got catcher speed, you don't run. Mike Socha very frustrated. Takes a man out of scoring position. That ball clearly hit in front of him, and no chance at all to beat this play.
Here's Escobar. He also had a Kansas City special broken bat single to knock in Choi back in the 3rd inning. Last year with Washington, Nasty Nancy had 314, 9 homers, and drove in 56.
Simmons doesn't run often. He's got decent speed. There's 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts this year. If you're ever going to run, this is a good time for it, because even if he's thrown out, you lead off next inning at the top with Escobar, Calhoun, and Trout.
Jacks it up, takes the strike. Checking some other scores. Cubs shut out Texas 6-0. Hendricks 8-6 the winner. One and two. Cleveland beat Minnesota 5-2. Carrasco 6-3 over Santana, who's 3-8. Tigers doubled up Kansas City 4-2 at America Park. Verlander 9-6 over Hoche. Now's a good time. He does not go.
This is where it came up with Atlanta. He was always a very good player. Had some problems early in his career with some management types. Moved around a bit. It seems to be getting better with age.
Good time for him to go right now on a 1-2 count. After that previous pitch. 2-2. Gap out there in left center. And a full count with Cole Calhoun on deck. Red Sox beat the Yankees 5-3 in the Bronx. Payoff.
Called timeout, and it's a good thing because that one was way off the outside corner. Simmons returns. Ball four was not ball four, and we'll start it again.
Just underneath it, he had a good pass up.
Wanting to walk him, he throws a fastball, perfect pitch, blown away on the outside corner. You certainly don't want this inning to stay alive to Calhoun. So Escobar should get something pretty good to hit or take his base.
Got him as ball had the plate, and that'll retire the side. We're into the sixth, trailing 2-0.
Brewers take on the Orioles at home on Saturday, August 6th at 6:10. First 20,000 fans will receive a White Sox retro batting practice pullover presented by Coca-Cola. Purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com.
All right, boys. Let's get something going. We trail it 2-0 here at the top of the 6th inning. Shuck, who went out to left. He'll lead it off.
Didn't want to swing, and instead of 2-0, it's 1-1.
Back through the middle into center field for a base hit.
That went up and out of the strike zone, and JB on the off-speed pitch went up and got it. A promising way to start the 6th inning.
That's the reason David Novak picked him. He knew he was going to get a high off-speed pitch.
That's the problem with the changeup when it's up in your eyes. Unlike the fastball up in your eyes, you get plenty of time to go up and get it.
So here's Tim Anderson 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs.
Gio Soto goes out to talk with Hector Santiago. He's gotten a couple pitches up. He's trying to settle him down and make sure that he keeps that ball down in the zone.
First and 30. Nope. Back him up. 2 down.
That ball hit awfully hard, but right at Escobar. Does a nice job of getting rid of it. Giovatello with a very quick turn at second. Turns into a very snappy 5-4-3. He get another pitch up. This is not one of his better fastballs, and he got away with it. Got lucky. Easy after that.
So here's Eaton. He's hit the ball hard twice, once for a double and once for a single.
Hector Santiago has averaged less than 6 innings per start. You can certainly understand where Mike Scioscia and Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, would be keeping a close eye on him.
Charles Nagy, there's a blast from the past.
Well, he was on some of those really good Cleveland Indians teams, overshadowed because of that offense, but Charles was a good pitcher.
You better believe he was. He was a real, he could throw that curveball most of the time for a strike anytime he needed it. And that one's back into the upper tank. Two out, 0-2 the count, nobody on. That ball hit hard. Breaking ball, made a mistake with it, and Trout, he's something. That's why he is one of the best in the game and got a chance to be one of the best that ever lived.
home run derbies or all-star games, and we told you that Mike Trout likes to play deep center field. That's the only reason he was able to run this one down in right center field. So both of them at the all-star game, very friendly with one another. They used to be adversaries. Not so these days, both in the American League. What a player.
And both big men. That catch. Mike Trout, 6'3", 235 pounds.
Not only that, but I was watching him before the game. I was down on the field, and he was talking to a lot of kids. He went back, signed autographs to the people they allow on the field before the game. He said he's been like that from the time he came to the major leagues. He has time for everybody.
He does it every day.
Yeah, one of the most amiable players there is in the game today. And even during the tough times, he just still does the same thing. Last July, he hit just above 200 for the month. It was a very bad month for him, and yet he never changed one iota. The same way when he was going great as when he was struggling, and he doesn't struggle too much.
All he did was hit 299, 41 homers. Drove him 90. But the thing about when you get guys like that, that's one reason I love him. You take Miguel Cabrera. He does the same thing. He'll be down on the field getting ready to take batting practice or else finishing up, come over. There'll be a lot of kids they've got in this little area. He'll go over and he'll pat them on the heads, shake their hands, sign autographs each and every day. Cal Ripken did that in Baltimore. He would, and even in every ballpark he went to. In our ballpark, I used to watch him before the game. He'd sign autographs 15, 20 minutes. Here you go.
We'll take you back to Monday. And there is Mike Trout, Todd Frazier, very friendly with one another. And today, a reunion of sorts.
Trout 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and struck out. Swinging on a high fastball. Takes first pitch strike. I read a story in the paper the other day that somebody got a little carried away. Certainly Mike Trout, who in his first 4 seasons in the major leagues, the worst he's finished in MVP voting has been second.
Yep.
I mean, that's incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
And this one guy was talking about, writing about how he's already put himself into the best 4 or 5 outfielders ever in baseball. And that is absolutely absurd at this point.
Well, the only thing we have to measure greatness in the game of baseball is passing the test of time. Has he been great early in his career? Absolutely, he's been great. But
he's got a long way to go before he gets that category.
He's got a long way to go, is right.
When you're talking about Ted Williams, you're talking about Stan Musial, you're talking about Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and on and on and on. You got a long way to go. And that hook, you go.
Now time for the greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile, and it is the aforementioned Mike Trout. Second or better last 4 seasons. The MVP in 2014, 5-time All-Star. The MVP twice, 4-time Silver Slugger Award winner, and the AL Rookie of the Year.
Well, that's the only time that's ever been done. So that's where he's got a chance in another 10, 15 years to maybe get to that plateau, that status.
With the Silver Slugger Award, winning it his first 4 seasons, the only other major leaguer to win it the first 4 seasons is Mike Piazza. And that 4 full seasons, Silver Slugger Award each and every year, 2, Trout and Piazza.
Takes off the plate. Albert. He's going out to right and grounded to short. Well, you're talking about, he had some good guys to watch. You know, you're talking about, I mentioned Torrey Hunter was the first center fielder to start playing deep. He could come in great on the ball. He could go to his left great. He could go to his right. And But the only thing you ever saw about Torrey was not those catches. It was him going up over the fence and bringing him back in. Only thing you ever really see, because theirs went down to Frazier, about Mike Trout is him going up and bringing him back in, except for that last catch he made. Meanwhile, this was a nice inning for Gonzalez.
The White Sox game will receive a game card courtesy of Jewel Osco with a coupon for $10 off a purchase of $100 or more. Jewel Osco, your moment is our moment. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
And we are into the 7th inning. We need 2 to tie. It'll be Abreu, Cabrera, and Frazier to face the 28-year-old southpaw, Hector Santiago. If you're just tuning in, first 4 innings he dominated our hitters with a high fastball. They could not lay off of it, chased it. He had 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, had struck out 1 in the third. Then the last 2 innings he started mixing in some changeups, some breaking balls.
Been a well-pitched game on both sides of the equation.
Yes, it has.
He got a total of 7 hits. That's it combined. The only problem for Miguel is that 3 of them came in the 3rd inning.
That's out of play, upper tank.
It's hard to believe that they've got a picture of Jose back in the 70s and he actually did wear that afro. Interesting sartorial choice.
High into right center field. Cole Calhoun. Abreu now 0 for 3. He's going out deep to center. Back in the 4th. He struck out in the 1st. So here is Melky. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout in the 1st inning.
Pretty impressive numbers. No walks, 7 Ks, and just 3 hits. 2 by Adam Eaton, 1 by J.B. Shuck. The interesting thing, left-hand hitters with all 3 hits. Michael Inoa, one of the 2 Pensmen, along with Tommy Kahnle, loosening in the Sox pen.
Well, he got a cookie right there. Couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I talked with Todd before the game about his experience in Home Run Derby, trying to defend his title. He felt that he had hit one at least 440 feet and needed more swings. But They said no. He said they'll get him next year. He took it a long way, only to lose at the end to Giancarlo Stanton. Good run, Todd Frazier.
He's 0 for 2, a strikeout. Then last time in the 4th inning, he just missed one high, towering fly ball to left field. There's the base hit.
Second baseman, number 50, Brett Lowry.
With Escobar and Simmons playing very close to one another, playing Todd as a dead pull hitter, which he's been. See how close they are. It's tough to shoot it through, but he hits the ball so hard that he was able to keep the inning alive.
So here is Brett. Laurie 0 for 2 with 2 major league pop-ups. 1-2. Short, 1 to second. I mean, they were way up there.
Santiago gives up a lot of home runs. By a lot, I mean 17 coming into action. That is second on the team behind Jared Weaver, who's thrown 21 of them. Cam Bedrosian loosening up in the pen for the Angels as Hector Santiago doesn't usually go this deep into games, but he finds himself with 2 outs and a 7th.
Fouls that one back. Both teams with 4 hits, but they have 2 runs, all coming in the 3rd inning if you're just dialing in.
Gio Soto, who's a pretty aware catcher, realized, and I'm sure this was in the notes, that Todd Frazier is going to take off. You don't make him stop at first base. And that time, Santiago did not make him stop. Troy was off the bag. That's fine. That happens a lot, and a lot of base runners will tell you it's uncomfortable when that happens, but that's what Socha is telling him. Take a look at first base. If you give him a running start, he's going to steal second.
And there's a base hit. Now he's on his way to 3rd, and he's going to get there. Now into second base, and he is safe. Well, good base running, good heads-up base running by Frazier and Laurie.
And a real bad play by Nava in left field. Because you've got to make sure you keep the tying run out of scoring position. So he drills it through the left side, and Daniel Nava decides that he's going to try to cut down Todd Frazier. He doesn't have much of an arm, but you got to get this throw into second base. He beats that play very easily. And Fred Laurie, when he sees the throw going through, he just takes off. But this is a mental mistake, and let's hope that it helps doing the Angels.
There's one guy who is hot under the collar right there. And justified.
I should say so.
But he's going to get out of it as Gianna got a good pitch to hit right there. And couldn't do anything with it. So we threatened 7th inning stretch. Still 2-0 Angels. Tonight, CSN goes one-on-one with former White Sox slugger Jim Thome on a brand new edition of Inside Look. He'll recall his 500th home run at U.S. Cellular Field, his playing career, and give fans an update on what he's doing right now. So Inside Look, Jim Thome, presented by Cadillac, premieres Monday night at 8 right here on CSN Chicago. Here's Nava. He is 0 for 1. He has walked and lined hard to center. But he got bailed out right there on a bad play.
Well, there's been a couple of mental mistakes by the Angels. So far has not come back to haunt him. Gio Soto running the third on a ground ball in front of him, and couple that with Nava's throw to third base with the tying run into second. Not good for them.
Drops the hook on him.
Making a guy that has made his living on fundamentals, Mike Scioscia, most unhappy.
Well, for a long time, it was the Baltimore Orioles who had the best fundamental club in the American League. I'm going back to the 60s. Then Minnesota came in. And there for a long time, they had the best fundamental team in the American League. And since Scioscia's been here, overall, most of the time he's been here, they have had the best fundamental club in the American League. Ball gets by Abreu. So Nava into second with a double. A play that Jose could have made.
This one taken down the line. It does hit it well, but Jose is there. Just doesn't make it.
Here comes Coop.
I remember talking with Ron Gardner at the time, and you were talking about the fundamentals of that Minnesota team. Not only fundamentals, but how you played the game. And they had an infielder by the name of Alexi Casilla who didn't run quite as hard as they thought he would have. They talked with him about it. Next time that happened, they sent him to the minor leagues. But I talked with Ron Gardner about that situation. He said, you know, I was very fortunate. I had a couple of guys in Mike Kadire and Justin Morneau. And when something happened that wasn't supposed to happen, they would walk by me and say, Skip, I got this one. And it was the players that would go up. Guys who came through their system, they would go up and talk with the player and tell them what they expected out of a Minnesota Twins player. And that's the ideal situation where a manager doesn't have to get involved.
Well, yeah, you're right. That's the perfect world. But unfortunately,
doesn't happen
the
too
perfect
much.
world doesn't happen very
No.
much. And what happens when that is the case, when you don't have that perfect world, you don't have the Derek Jeter, some of the guys like that, then the manager's it's incumbent upon the manager to take that responsibility, and Scioscia has done it.
Oh,
and there are a lot of managers who will not take it. Giovatello. Takes it up high.
Giovatello can bunt. He's got 3 sacrifices this year. That ties him for the team lead.
All right, that was a good thought, even if it didn't come off. You have the third baseman break in 3 or 4 steps, that runner's second season, but he held his ground. 2-1 to count.
Ron Renicky, former manager of Milwaukee Brewers, now the third base coach of these Angels, giving his set of signs. Cunningham has come on to pinch run for Nava. That's E6, and as Tim Anderson was thinking about the throw before he made the catch.
So you could see that coming. Second error, just his second error since being called up. So a couple of plays that could have been made, and really should have been made, but they're not. So runners at the corners, nobody out. And another terrific performance by Miguel Gonzalez. He'll depart, and we'll be back.
Zach Duke, who's 2-0, his ERA a fine 2.59 on for the 46th time. He's the busiest man around. He inherits some big problems. Runners at the corners, nobody out. So Marte comes out to pinch hit for Choi. And unlike Choi, this guy's got some big power. Hitting just .219 with 5 home runs, driven in 13. But he can hit him a long way.
So infield halfway up the middle. Cunningham back. Nobody out. And that's one of the first rules in baseball. You got to catch the baseball.
I'd say 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter, and that one hit, a home run.
And that ball hit hard. Nobody is going to get that one. So one is going to score. It's a 3-0 game. Ducks on the pond, still nobody out.
Now Marte's driven in 3 as a pinch hitter on his second hit. That ball driven to the gap. And here comes Robin. That's going to be it for Zach Duke. Cunningham doing what he should do. Just in case it's caught, he tags up. Matt Albers comes in. Zach Duke goes out. We'll be back after these messages. day after a Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com when you use promo code SOXWIN, and that's at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. And our Hyundai call to the pen is Matt Albers. Matt on for the 40th time. ERA touch over 5 and a 2-4 record.
And here's Gio. Tim Anderson back a few steps. Brett Laurie in at second. And the same for the corners. On the count. One and two, the count.
He was sort of very unhappy with himself. He took one pretty much down the middle on a fastball.
He did not go. There's the base hit. So they're going to hold a runner at third as Giovatello scores. And it's a 4-0 ball game. So both those plays that really should have been caught aren't, and they both score.
Angels pretty happy to have Soto back in the lineup. He's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight, 2 for 3 with a run batted in. And that's RBI number 8.
Here's Simmons. That's softly hit out there. Kansas City special. Gets the job done, and it's 5-0.
RBI number 19 on the first hit of the night for Simmons. High fastball from Matt Albers. Not a whole lot of contact, but just enough.
Unell, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. 33-year-old veteran infielder. Five, 8, and 0 for them. 0-5-1 with a big 1 for us. Oops.
And Jennings starting to loosen in the pen.
Yonder keeps it in front of him. gets away and the run's going to score. So this has been an ugly inning. Very, very ugly inning. And it's 6-0.
A real good chance of being E6, the second E6 of the inning. We'll see how it's scored. Brett Lawrie gets it to second, and then the throw is well wide of the bag. Jose cannot make a catch, and the run scores. And that one's going to come out. That's going to be it for Albers as bullpen brigade continues to try to subdue the Angels. It's now 6-0.
All right, so he departs. Jennings comes on, and we'll be back.
Can win one of 16 weekly prizes or a monthly prize pack as well. It's an amazing grand prize at the end of the season. So visit whitesox.com/Sox16 for complete details. And our Hyundai called to the pen. They should be paying extra this inning. It's Dan Jennings. He comes on for the 33rd time, 3-1, a fine ERA of 1.64. He inherits runners at the corners. And some trouble brewing.
Calhoun, couple of strikeouts and an RBI double. So poor defense here, and they had a good ball game going for it. 6.5 innings. Boy, when you don't catch it, you're going to probably lose. Back him up. Run scores 7-0. 2 down. Strike. Trout 0 for 3. Ate him up. One ball, two strikes, two out. Outfield. Spread out. Swung well around to the right. Big gap out there in left center for the 24-year-old, two-time MVP, two-time runner-up MVP. That's hard to imagine. One-time MVP, three-time runner-up. That's still impossible.
Still pretty impressive.
Top four. First 4 years in the big leagues. Oh, wow.
Wins above replacement for Mike Trout has been magnificent. 10.8, 9.3, 7.9, 9.4, and this year 5.6 with a long way to go.
Just joining us, it has not been the base on balls that hurt us tonight. It has not been the umpiring that's hurt us tonight. We have, for the most part, did ourselves in here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So here's Albert. He's going out to right, grounded to short, and grounded to third. A little bit low. Also, if you're just joining us, Miguel Gonzalez was again another solid effort.
Well, it's going to say 4 runs, 3 earned, but he was very good tonight.
That's why numbers can be the most misleading thing in a ball game.
I thought the control was excellent. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. All things considered, I mean, when you look at the back end of the starting rotation, and that would be Shields and Gonzalez, they've done a very nice job.
Got him. That crooked number goes up on that board, a 5 spot, and we trail it 7. Angels in Game 2 of this series. Coverage begins at 7:30 with White Sox pregame live, presented by the Koalas family of dealerships on CSN.
There's a look at J.C. Ramirez. Combination of Cincinnati and the Angels. 5.75 ERA. He is a phenomenally hard thrower. At times has some problems knowing where it's going, but a great arm. The Angels are hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. A very strong-armed reliever. Jeffrey Marte, who came on with a pinch double, staying in the game to play first base, and Todd Cunningham, who came on to pinch run in left field, taking the place of Daniel Nava.
All right, here's Justin Morneau making his first plate appearance in a White Sox uniform. Hitting for Harvey, who was 0 for 2, a liner to right and a strikeout. This man, when that Minnesota uniform on, was awesome. One out. Of course, Joe Mauer has been the face of that franchise in Minnesota since he's come into the league. But the man who beat you the most was Morneau.
Well, he is still beloved in the Twin Cities.
As he should be.
Yeah. Probably when it's over for him, he'll find his spot somewhere in that organization. He meant a whole lot to him over the years.
Well, he was one of the reasons that Mauer had such good success there. Pretty good protection when you had him when he was healthy behind you.
Yeah.
And he was also came in. He was a decent first baseman, and before he left or got injured, he was a good first baseman.
So Hector Santiago did a terrific job tonight. 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits. He didn't walk anybody, and he fanned 7. One of his better outings of the year.
He had 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings.
I think the visibility stayed like that, he might have struck out 20 tonight.
So here's Tim, 0 for 3. Just took that one off the shin guard. And the count's 3-0. Fastball at 95. And there's ball 4. Here's Adam.
Number 1, Adam Eaton.
Doubled over the head of Nava in the first inning. Had a hard base hit by Escobar in the 4th, and then was robbed of extra bases on a brilliant catch, a stunning catch by who else but Mike Trout.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and it is the aforementioned catch into the gap in right center field. So Trout played deep, cut across. That would have been the 3rd Eaton hit of the night.
One thing that all great center fielders have in common, which you got to, they make a commitment earlier and they stay with it. They very seldom get caught in between on that commitment. Why Austin Jackson was you go back to that first part of the season, nothing hit the ground in the outfield. He was all over the place. Adam Eaton was playing a Gold Glove right field because of that. Melky was playing a terrific left field. Ergo, we started off 23-10. That'll do it for us here in the eighth. They still lead it 7-0.
So Gonzalez, Duke, Albers, Jennings, and now Canely on for the sixth time. There you look at the numbers.
Number 37, Todd Cunningham.
7-8-0 for their guys. 0-5-2 for us. So here is Cunningham. Takes first pitch strike. Two and one. And tomorrow, game 2 of the series and the 6-game road trip. James Shields against Matt Shoemaker. Game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. A high pop up. Timmy.
Second baseman, number 12, Johnny Gianmatella.
And that will be a 8:05 Central start. And on Sunday in the finale, Jared Weaver for them against to be announced for us. So 2 down. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, 8:05 Central start. Sunday, 2:35 Central start. So here's Marte. Had a big base hit. Pinch hit double. And after the 2 misplays by our guys defensively, that set the whole inning up for them. Takes first pitch strike. One and one to count. And taking some other scores for you. Bottom of the 7th. And Phoenix 12-7 Dodgers over the D-backs. Bottom of the 7th. Coliseum in Oakland, Toronto, and the A's tied at 7. Top of the 8th in Seattle, 7-3 Houston. San Diego leading San Francisco 4-1. That's in the top of the 7th. At Petco. Cubs shut out Texas 6-0. Boston over the Yankees 5-3 in New York. Mets beat the Phillies 5-3 at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Nasty Nats 5-1 winners over Pittsburgh in Washington.
Steven Strasburg 13-0.
Baltimore beat Tampa Bay 4-3 down in St. Pete. Detroit doubled up Kansas City 4-2 at Comerica Park. Cincinnati beat Milwaukee 5-4 at the Great American Ballpark. 11-2 Rockies over Atlanta down in Georgia. Cleveland beat Minnesota 5-2 at Target Field. Hard hit. Meanwhile, grab some bench. And we're into the 9th, trailing big. Game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and this coming on a big base hit by Cole Calhoun down into the right field corner. Cole picking up his 16th double, knocking in a run. He's dangerous. But Fernando Salas comes on in relief of Ramirez.
On for the 42nd time. Been called on a save 6 games, only successful twice. ERA up over 5.
Two and 0 the count. Brady 0 for 3. Strikeout, went out deep to center, and he flied to right. Jacks it up, did not go. Just getting home late, tuning in. Another good outing by Miguel Gonzalez. Now the numbers won't look that good tomorrow in the newspaper or on your box score with MLB app. They are very misleading. So the leadoff man aboard.
Number 53, Milwaukee.
And here's Melky, 0 for 3.
Melky gets turned around and hit from the left side for the first time. He didn't like what he saw from Hector Santiago, who was really brilliant through 7 innings tonight.
Way overmatched.
Good stuff. The changeup was real good tonight from him. His control was letter perfect.
Threw a couple of nice breaking pitches down too. If you missed it, he had 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, primarily using that fastball up high. We couldn't lay off of it. Twilight time here in beautiful sunny Southern California.
It's wonderful for pitchers.
Melky with a good pass.
Young fan, he's got a souvenir now. He wants to find somebody to sign it for him.
Well, if you'll wait till tomorrow, Mike Trout will sign it.
He'd be more than happy to.
Yeah. All right, 1 out. They'll bring up Todd. Todd's 1 for 3.
Todd Frazier.
Struck out his first trip, then just missed one. A high towering drive to left. And in the 7th, he just rocketed a single in the hole between 3rd and short. $42,031. Attendance above their average of 37,991. Two down. This is one of those games, if you're just joining us, that
Second baseman.
in one respect we just got beat. Santiago was just too tough. Our guys had no chance against him. Those numbers will prove that. But on the other side of that page, we certainly didn't do anything to help ourselves. And you don't like to start off a new second season, so to speak, by playing bad defensively.
No, and this is not going to be an artistic success. Plus, you know, you don't hit the baseball. There's not much you can do. You just got overwhelmed tonight by a fine pitching performance. And the Angels, who haven't been scoring a whole lot of runs, scored a few tonight.
Well, this will be the 5th straight series we've been shut out. And again, deep into right field, but back on the track, and this ball game is over. So we get shut out for the 5th straight series.
It's really just a night where you got outplayed in every aspect of the game, and the Angels deserve to win this one. So you got to come back tomorrow and behind James Shields try to even the series.
All right, so far. So for Steve Stone, our director Todd Benjaminson, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Ross, a very fine technical manager, Mark Harper, also for lead on the sound, Scotty, Grego, George, and for the Emmy Award-winning stage manager JR, John Reynolds, also the executive producer Jim Cornell. This is The Hawk. So long, everybody.